Welcome to MPC on MCP, episode 12. Slight delay getting this one out, but we did do a battle report in between. And we even went to an event in between. More on that in a minute. So it is I, Matt, back with you all to discuss some more MCP. And I'm joined by...
a Pat. A wild Pat.
As always. How are you doing, Pat? How's it been going?
I'm sunburnt, but it's it's good. It's all good.
I'm also a little bit sunburnt.
I am the reason for the delay, probably. I've been back to work for the first time in 14 months, and I'm finding it difficult to fit everything in. But I think I've got a routine now. Got a timetable.
I mean, I'm also part of the reason because I got a hernia, and that put me out of action for... we're not out of action. It's just a bit worrying.
Bit pain. Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
So it's difficult to sit. It's difficult to sit down for like a long period of time. So we'll see what this is like recording now.
You can always get up and go for a little bit of a walk, Matt. You can always go
exactly.
It's all good.
Exactly.
It's all good.
So yeah, this is annoying, but it's one of those things. And now sunburnt as well. So now I'm even more uncomfortable. So, but that is my life now. I'm old and forgetful, and I will wander out into the sun and just get burned.
I mean, I think that's just Brits in general, right? It's like, oh my god, the sun is out, and then 12 hours later, we're like, oh god, I'm burnt.
Oh god, why? Why is it so warm? Why is everything uncomfortable? But
we're not here to talk about the weather today. We're here to talk about MCP, our favourite game. And like Matt said, we actually managed to have a little play in person. Was it 2 weeks ago now? 2 weeks ago now? Just over
or just under 2 weeks?
Just under 2 weeks. It's like 10 days. 10 days.
Yeah.
So that was in Exeter, Union County Games, was that correct? Run by our friend Marcus. And it was really good. There was a good turnout. I think that's probably what...
At least 10, 12 people?
I think it was 10 people in the end. There were some people who were doubled up, so there were sort of 4 people playing on the game table at one point. Because it was good. It was new players. We wanted to learn the game. It was really good. And we're already planning the next one. I think planning a tournament towards the end of July. Does that sound about right? Or mid-July?
Mid-July, I think it's the 17th, 18th? 18th is Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Sunday, yeah. So that should be really good. So I think we both played 3 games across the day. Right? Yep. So we played each other first game on a really, really cool board. It was like a collector board that Marcus had put together. Really, really cool. Nice big size 5 in the middle. Really interesting when there's a big size 5 in the middle of the board.
I thought so. I enjoyed it.
Breaks everything up. Yeah, it was definitely cool. Definitely. It was definitely cool. I played A-Force, you played Guardians for the first time. And Guardians were good, man. You went wide and...
I got lucky, but also, they were fun to play, actually. I would play again after all the complaining we've done. Would play again.
I think the standout for me was what was it, 7 attacks with She-Hulk doing like 7 damage across 7 attacks or something.
That's something like 7. I think she did something like 7, 9 damage across the whole game, and I healed 3 or 4 of it.
Healed 3 of it. Yeah. My real MVP, personally, I thought Crystal in our match.
Crystal was great.
Crystal was really good, being able to put out loads of... I mean, would have been able to put out even more conditions, except that stupid Guardians card prevents conditions from being able to put on. Played that at the right time, didn't you, Matt?
I did play that at the right time.
But yeah, it was a really close game. I think you won that one 18-15 or 19-15, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It was really close. It came down to the final turn, and it was just too much for me to do. I couldn't quite eke it back. I was sort of clawing it back slowly as the game went on, and I never quite...
I could have won the turn before, made it a bit more comfortable, but the dice... I think it was that Ronan dice roll. It was
the Ronan turn where Captain Marvel just decided Ronan didn't need to exist anymore.
He did like nothing on 9 dice, and you just did one-shot him with 9 dice. Yeah, that was... it was a good game. It was a really good game. And then I played my wide Cabal list with Cinnamon Viper, and... just played with 6 3 threats. That was against Steve. I want to say Steve.
Yeah.
Against his Avengers or Wakanda?
I think it was Wakanda. When I peeked over, I think it was.
It was Wakanda. It was Wakanda. Yeah, it was. It was. So that was again. I won. I Quicksilver. So I had Quicksilver in the list, and one of my attacks. I think I got 7 or 8 attacks.
Nice.
And all I was doing was bouncing between Okoye and Black Panther. Did no damage. Well, I was chipping away. She eventually KO'd Okoye. Barely did anything to Black Panther. But all I just every time was just another attack. I eventually got a dash and just dashed away from him at the end. But he did it again later on in the game. He got sort of 4 or 5 attacks again. So he's so fun to play. Again, it's not a huge damage output, but it's brilliant fun. I think I that was something like 16-10 or something like that. I can't remember. It was a bit not quite as close, but it was still a really enjoyable game.
Yeah, I mean, Steve's a player that I know from Magic in Plymouth, so yeah, he wants to be running some events in Plymouth as well. So there's going to be, I think what it just proves is actually there's going to be a big representation in the southwest here, because I know the people in Cornwall, Callington Way, are setting up games days and stuff like that as well.
Yes, I met one of those in JK Games the other day. Popped
awesome.
in and was looking at it, and I started chatting, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the group," and I'm like, "Oh, my bad." And there were another few guys that were in the couple of days before when I was in there as well, looking at MCP stuff and having a good old chat about it. So basically, everyone that comes in now, I push them towards that shelf. It's like I think they probably think I work there, but
I mean, he's already made the shelf bigger, Jake. John's already.
He has. He's had to expand,
which is good.
Which is great.
Yeah, my second game was terrible with names. Marcus plays against him a lot. He was playing Web Warriors, great opponent, and I got eaten by Venom. As in, Venom, I think we worked out, did 43 damage to my team across, or it was like 30-something damage. Yeah, 30-something damage across my team. But bear in mind, I was playing 3 fighters. So I was playing She-Hulk as Angela and Medusa, and he did everything.
Yeah.
And I've never been so terrified in my entire life. So now all I want to do is play Venom, just so everyone knows.
You were thinking about doing Web Warriors for a while anyway. So.
I was, yeah. I mean, we played that game on TTS with Web Warriors, and I've still got that list. I definitely want to be looking at that again, for sure, especially with next month's release, Amazing Spider-Man. Well, but yeah, it was a really good game. Oh my god, it is this month. You are correct. The next release, I should say.
Yeah.
It was close. Like, I definitely had the game for the first 2 rounds, and then Venom just turned up towards the back end of the second round, and it was game over by round 4. As in, I had nothing left because Venom ate me. So yeah, I don't know what I could have done differently, but maybe just try and focus Venom down a bit more. I mean, I took out Zemo, I took out Spider-Gwen, took out Black Widow, dealt a ton of damage to Miles. It was just Venom at that point. That was just like, nah, I will eat you all. And then for our third and final game, we did the Ultimate Counter Thanos, which was yeah. So that was Matt and Steve against me playing Thanos, and man, I can't believe you guys got it. You got it. I
mean,
again.
Scarlet Witch did Scarlet Witch things and just did
She did 15 damage, didn't she?
15 damage in one attack.
In one activation, so 2 attacks. Two attacks. She did 15 damage to Thanos.
And that was enough to win the game. But up until that point, you had it. You 100% had it.
I think I win if Thanos doesn't go down then.
Yeah, he was about to just munch through. It was that turn where you got to choose who activated.
Yeah.
The turn before.
Yeah, that was massive.
And then,
because for anyone who doesn't know, basically Thanos can get a gem each turn, and they sort of get like their super gems. And yeah, I managed to one-shot Wolverine out the game, and then regenerated him, which is like, cool, I'm gonna have Wolverine now.
Didn't get to use him though.
Didn't get to use him because like Scarlet Witch was just like, no, no more Thanos.
Not today.
Not today. But yeah, it was really good fun, really good event. Amazing tables by Marcus. Marcus spent massive time putting together all those tables with wonderful pieces of scenery, and he even had like printouts for what size each piece of terrain is, so you knew there was no questioning it. And also he managed to stick stickers down for A deployment, B deployment, C deployment, D deployment, E deployment. So there were stickers on the map, so you knew where to place your tokens. It was great. It was really. It was
really well.
It set the bar. Yeah. It really set the bar. But that was a really cool event. I can't wait for the next one. But shall we get on to today's topic, which is the one and only the defense.
Attack of the truck. Oh. I started painting.
I mean, we can have a whole episode on Attack of the Truck if you want. Cutie, love it. I've nearly finished painting Okoye, and then I'll basically have a fully painted A-Force roster, which blows my mind.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. But the Defenders, a faction I've played a few times. I think you have also played
a few times.
Yeah. A few times. You've played against them a few times. I don't play them that often. They're probably not one of the ones that I want to be playing most of the time, especially when you got the good guys and I want to focus on like A-Force Avengers and Web Warriors a little bit more. Yeah. But Defenders do have some very cool plays with some very cool characters. But who are the Defenders? Now, I'm not going to lie. I probably didn't really know who the Defenders were before this game. I had heard of them in passing, but I couldn't really tell you outside of Doctor Strange who was on the Defenders roster. But turns out they are actually super old. From 1971 was their first appearance. Created by a man called Roy Williams Thomas, in 1971, and it was a team consisting of Doctor Strange, Hulk, Namor, and Silver Surfer. So we actually only have 2 of these characters in MCP at the moment. Cannot wait for Namor and Silver Surfer. They are going to be great. And there was a sort of a rotating lineup of Defenders. There was a sort of a movement called Be a Defenders for a Day sort of thing. So it was that's where sort of characters like Valkyrie, Beast, Luke Cage, Hellcat, they all became a Defender for a day, and they stuck around eventually. But yeah, it turns out there's been quite a few incarnations of this team. But yeah, they are sort of a bit more outsidery and deal with a bit more with the supernatural side of things, whereas you have the Avengers who sort of deal with cosmic level stuff. The Defenders are a little bit more supernatural, a bit more mysticky, magicy, woo sort of thing. And I think that is reflected in the characters who sort of make up the Defenders. It's kind of cool. I mean, I've read a few Defenders comics. I mean, one of them I sort of even forgot was a Defenders comic. It was called The Fearless Defenders. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, it's cool. I think a lot of people will basically know the Defenders from the Netflix sort of TV show, which brought together Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. That was a sort of, I can't remember how many episodes was it. Was it 6 or 8 episodes?
8.
Was it 8 episodes? Yeah. And it was sort of had mixed reviews. Like, it was okay. I didn't enjoy it as much as some of the other Netflix TV shows, but I think it was always going to be difficult to sort of bring together, 3 pretty hyped TV shows. I mean, what? 3 pretty hyped TV shows and Iron Fist. I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo on Iron Fist too much. I actually really liked season 2. I thought season 2 was a mass up in quality.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different. The comic book Defenders are a little bit different than the Netflix one, the Netflix team that we put together, or will put together. But in MCP, they are a reasonably big faction. We've got 12 current members, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, I can count. For some reason, I just panicked there. I went, that looks like too many. But It is 12. And yeah, I think it sort of does reflect the comic book a little bit more. They're a little bit more of the outsidery, a little bit more mysticky. And then I do think they sort of, MG sort of went, oh, okay, yeah, everyone knows the Defenders from the TV show. Let's whack them in as well. But who are the Defenders in the game? Well, I mean, it would be rude not to start off with the leader himself, Doctor Strange, who, yeah, he is single affiliation. He is just in Defenders, and you want to take him every time you take Defenders. I mean, you don't have to, but I think you should. He's pretty great. And actually, I think the leadership ability is pretty cool as well. So I think there's definitely a good incentive to take him. Do you take him just as his base card? Well, we'll explore his card now. He is Doctor Strange, Stephen Vincent Strange, 6 stamina, movement medium, size 2, 5 threat, 3 physical defense, and 4 energy and 4 mystic. So yeah, it's a 5 threat leader. But is he a 5 threat? We'll move on to that one a little bit later. He's got 2 attacks. The first one is his builder. It's Bolts of Bedevilment. It's an energy attack, range 4, 5 dice. After the attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to damage dealt. You know, standard buildery stuff. However, if this attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, this character may push the target. Sure.
Which is always nice.
It's really nice. Yeah, I think for a builder, this is great. It's range 4, which is really good. He's on that medium base. I forgot to mention as well. Even though he is only size 2, he's on a larger base than normal characters. So that that range 4 is even, you know, just that little bit longer. Well, feels a little bit longer as well. And yeah, the ability to push the target short is really good. You know, we love the ability to control points. And I think when you can do it from range 5, and also you can do it with an energy attack, which, as we know, generally is perceived as the best sort of attack in the game at the moment. Generally, characters have lower energy defenses than anything else, so that's cool. His second attack is the Crimson Bands of Sitarak, range 3, 6 dice, 4 cost. This is a mystic. After the attack is resolved, the target character gains the stagger special condition. Yep, this is just an automatic stagger on a character. For those who don't know, stagger just means for the first activation of that character's, you have to shake the stagger condition, so they effectively only get one, or they can only do one thing instead of 2 things per turn, which is very, very cool. He does have a mad trigger on this Crimson Band Sitarak called Mystic Binding. You need a crit, a hit, and a wild, which on 6 dice, it happens more often than you would think. But yeah, after the attack is resolved, instead of inflicting the stagger special condition, if the target character does not have an activated token, you may give it an activated token. So yeah, really cool.
It's bananas.
Super powerful.
Just like, no, you don't get to activate this character this turn.
You just, yeah, it's great. It can, you know, I mean, when it goes off, it's backbreaking. Just to put it that simply, like it is backbreaking.
Yeah, if it hits someone like Hulk or She-Hulk, and you're just like, there's my 6 threat character not doing anything for a turn.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's super good, super good. We'll move on. We'll leave the leadership a little bit. We're going to his abilities, of which he has 5. The first one is an active one. It's called Oshtar's Refuge. Cost 3. This character, or an allied character within 2 of this character, moves up to 3 damage. This superpower can be used only once per turn.
Love a heal.
Yeah, love a heal. It costs 3, so it's pretty expensive, but being able to remove up to 3 is pretty great. And the fact that you can do it on an ally as well is pretty amazing. So, yeah, I think this is another reason why you sort of take Doctor Strange. The ability to heal is super good, and we'll sort of see that Wong can do it as well. So, is this something that you can sort of build around with Defenders? I think it is. You know, I think it's something that you can do. It's got a reactive superpower, Hogarth's Hoary Wisdom. This one costs 2 power. When this character or an allied character within 3 of this character is targeted by an attack, this character may use the superpower, add 2 dice to the target character's defense roll, which is really cool. So this is just even more defensive shenanigans. So, you know, you could do it on yourself, getting that extra 2 dice, bringing it up to 5, 6, 6, which is nuts. You know, and then anybody who has a slightly lower defense, you just being able to add that 2 dice really does help. Range 3 is good. Like that's a pretty decent size away as well. You don't need to be properly bunched up for that to go off, which is good. Yeah, there's not much really to say about it.
No, and there's also no limit on how many times you can use it.
Yeah, and it's true. That is true. Especially with the bolts of bedevilment being an energy, you may find that Doctor Strange, especially if you've got a gem on him, we'll move on to that later, he has a good amount of power. And really, this is why you want to try and get as much power as possible onto Doctor Strange so that you can use this ability as much as possible. He has 3 passive abilities. A bit more, maybe 4, I guess, with Gembearer being Gembearer and Flight being 2 separate ones. But first of all, we've got the Eye of Agamotto. So this character may modify and re-roll skull dice results. This character may re-roll all of his attacks or defense dice once per attack. Now, how many times have you just been like, cool, I've got like one or 2 crits, so you know I've rolled, say it's a defense dice, I've rolled 6 dice. Cool. I'm going to be dazed, or I'm going to take a bit more damage than I like. I'm just going to re-roll all of these.
Yeah. Yeah, almost every time. Because even sometimes when you're like, oh, I needed 2 damage, I really need to do 3.
Yeah.
Like there's no point. There's no point in me just doing 2 damage at this stage. Like it's 3. It's 3 or bust. So you're like, I'll re-roll it anyway.
Yeah, even if there are no crits in there, it's just, you know, just box down and bolts of bedevilment. You're like, 5 dice, I haven't done enough damage here. We're going to go again.
Yeah. And usually it's worth the risk.
And to be able to modify the skulls is super
Yeah, cool. Exactly. So it is literally just grab all of them, re-roll.
Pick them all up, roll them again. Shield of the Seraphim is his next one. Whenever this character rolls dice, after the attack is resolved, it gains 1 power if it rolled at least a shield. So whenever it rolls dice. So, you know, if you're rolling for attack, rolling for defense, rolling for interacts, like, super good. We're just finding more ways to try and add power on Doctor Strange here, which is cool.
He is a bit of a battery.
He is, but I think you need it.
He's expensive, but he earns his own power.
I agree. Like I said earlier, he has flight, which is good. I think at this point we're like, if a character doesn't have flight, we're like, oh, that's a downside. It's not like, oh wow, it's amazing that this character has flight.
And yet I like all the characters that walk.
You do. It's good. And finally, here's Gembearer of 2 Infinity Gems, of the Soul Gem and the Time Gem. For those who don't know, Time Gem costs 2. It costs 2 to use, and this character may perform an additional action. This activation, this superpower may be used in return. That's been beaten up there.
It was a note that said, "Do you want your food now, or shall I reheat it later?" So I just said, "Give it to me now, and I'll eat it on camera. It's fine."
It's all good. Time Gem, one that we don't really see taken too often with Doctor Strange. Main reason being that he is 5 threat, adding the 2 gem. The Time Gem, which costs 2 on top of that, making him 7 threat, is expensive. And I mean, I would actually, like, looking at his card, I would love the ability to do 3 stuff, like 3 things a turn on him. Time Gem is super useful on Thanos, for example, because he doesn't have to pay the 2 to use the Time Gem. It's really good. I just think when we're being a little bit more competitive, you want to streamline that list as much as possible, get as much value as possible in there. I don't think that doing the Time Gem is generally the way to do that, but I think the consensus out there is that if you're taking the gem, you're taking the Soul Gem, and if you're not taking the gem, there has to be a good reason for you not to take the gem.
Yeah.
Just because it is that powerful. yeah, I think so. Yeah, for those who don't know, it costs 1, so it takes his threat level from 5 to 6. And when an enemy character within 4 of this character uses an active or reactive superpower, this character gains 1 after the effect is resolved.
Boom.
Boom. More power generation. More power generation to do more heals, more power generation to try and get more Crimson Bands of Citrax out there. That's really what we're trying to spend Doctor Strange's power
boosting your defense roll.
Boosting your defense roll. Yep, exactly. Yeah, so healing, defense roll, Crimson Bands. And when you put all that together, you find out he wants the power. Especially when you look also with his Mystic Empowerment, which is the leash ability for the defenders. Currently, the only one. This is a really cool one. Once per turn, when an allied character declares an attack before choosing a target, it may spend 1 power. If it does, you may choose whether it's physical, energy, or mystic. And on top of that, if this attack deals any damage, the target character gains the Hex special condition. So, for those who don't know, the Hex means that this character does not roll additional dice when they roll a critical, and that's for attack, defense, or dodges. So it's very good. And yeah, that is Doctor Strange's card, because nothing changes on his backside.
No.
Yeah, I think Doctor Strange is really cool. Doctor Strange should be one of the main reasons you want to take defenders.
He is.
He's got some wicked attacks. He's tankier than you think. You're having those 4 mystic and 4 energy defense really helps as well. He can be a little bit of a support. He's quite a massive support character as well. But with Crimson Bands, he does have the ability to just take other fighters out of the game. So he can do so much. You can do so much. Big fan. I don't think there's too many downsides to taking him. He really is just the reason you play defenders. Is just like, I want to play Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly. I was just looking at the list of characters that are in the defenders list. There's 2 more that are defenders only.
Yeah, I think I was gonna.
There's 2 more that are new out that we wouldn't have covered in their other affiliation. And I think everyone else we've probably either covered or will cover in a different episode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I'll let you run through.
No, I think you're right. I was going to move on to Wong next, which is
makes sense.
Strange's faithful assistant. And you know what, I think
the Alfred to his Batman.
Like, Wong is tricky. I'll read his card. He is 4 stamina, medium move, size 2, 2 threat, 2 physical energy, 2 physical defense. Sorry, 3 energy and 3 mystic. So, we are dying to a stiff breeze here.
I mean, he does not like getting hit.
He doesn't. He really does not. 2 physical, which is the most common attack type in the game.
Unless, if Doctor Strange is nearby and boosting his defense is not so bad. But
it's not so bad. But yeah, not great. Not a great start. But he is only 2 threat. Got to remember, he is only 2 threat. He has 1 attack. It is a strike. Range 2, 4 dice, physical, gain 1 power.
Yeah.
He doesn't really want to be hitting, so he doesn't get hit, and he doesn't want to do hitting.
No, he doesn't want to be anywhere near enemies.
We are now hoping that the rest of his card is pure support, right? That is what we're hoping, and that's what we get. Like, he is just a support piece. He has 4 superpowers. He is the faithful assistant, and that is the name of his first active superpower. Costs 2. Choose another allied character within 3 of this character. It gains 1 power. A character may be affected by this superpower once per round. So yeah, it costs 2 to give 1, but power manipulation, power movement like that is super useful. Many plays are turned on mine by just that character having 1 extra power at the start of the game. So, one gets a power. Moving on to his next ability, which is Meditate. So this is an action, costs 0. This character gains 1 power. So that then means that you can Faithful Assistant straight away.
Which is a common first turn play.
It is a common first turn play for him. His next one is the Vishanti's Blessing. This costs 1 to use. It is another action, so 2 of his superpowers are actions, which really tell you everything you need to know about what Wong wants to be doing, each turn. So this character or an allied character within 3 of this character removes up to 2 damage or 1 special condition. A character may be affected by the superpower only once per round. So a heal or a removal of special condition is super good.
For 1 power, it's useful.
1 power, you can't go wrong. It is an action, but this is why you're taking 1, so you need to factor that into your.
But bear in mind, he can do that twice a turn because it's only characters that can be affected by it once, not.
Yes, absolutely. It's not like this superpower can be used once per turn. No, you are quite right. And he has a passive superpower, Servant to the Sorcerer Supreme. While within 3 of an allied Doctor Strange, this character adds 1 to its defense rolls. So on top of Doctor Strange being able to, add dice to Wong, he goes up to 3/4/4, which actually 4 energy and 4 mystic on a 2 threat is pretty good.
If like I said, if you're using Strange as well, that's a 5/6/6.
Yeah. If you're using Strange to add dice there, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Nothing changes on his backside, so I've always been really in a funny place with Wong. Like I take him a lot with defenders because he's 2 threat and you have a 6 threat leader, so that gives you 8. It sort of balances the scales a little bit. But you've got 2 characters for 8 threat, which is pretty normal. Like you might get that's 2 4 threats, which is not so bad. But his attacks. His attack is terrible.
It's just not there.
His attack is terrible. His survivability is really
unless Strange is nearby, it's bad.
Yep.
He's interestingly, he is what I expected 2 threats to be, and actually they're not. Like a lot of them. I mean, Bob is kind of along there, but he still has his like little missile trick.
The thing with Bob is he can just kill people. That is the thing with a character like Bob. He does
he gets that one thing, and he doesn't die in theory. Like time it right. Like if you're playing a wide list, he's going to die because you just out activate and then wait for them to. I guess they could pass, but either way, anyway. But Toad does a lot of things. You've got
Okoye is one of the most efficient.
Okoye just bodyguards everything, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know about Wong. He is a true support piece.
That's all he does.
Until we got Lockjaw, we didn't have another character like him.
Yeah, and it's difficult. I played Wong a lot, and I've never felt like, I shouldn't have taken him, because for 2 threat, I think he does work, and he does help certain plays that will move on to later with sort of pentagrams and stuff like that, because he can play that, or being able to have characters close to Doctor Strange so that he can use the 7 Sons of Cinnabus sort of thing. It's useful to have him there. But the ability to heal is always good as well. But I don't know. You never hear the game that Wong won the game for you, and you do sometimes hear Toad, Okoye, Black Widow.
Oh, Toad is definitely one.
Yeah. But yeah, he is what he is. He is what he is. We will move on to the next Defenders Only character in the game, and that is the one Johnny Blaze, or Jonathan Blaze, as AMG have put on his card, Ghost Rider himself. I was super hype for Ghost Rider, man. I don't know about you. I was just like,
yeah. This is my boy.
Damn, Ghost Rider! I could just recommend every Ghost Rider comic ever written, and I'll be like, yep, That is.
I need to read. I showed you that Savage Avengers.
Yeah,
comic.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Where he's riding giant
When
Twitch.
it literally it shows. So that I'm just a tangent. We're going off.
Yeah.
That Ghost Rider it shows riding that giant spider is actually the Hyborian Age Conan Ghost Rider.
Mind blown.
It's awesome.
So good. Amazing. But what is he like in the game? Well, he is another 5 threat, which means he's tight. He's a tight squeeze when your leader is 5 and you have another character who is 5 threat. But he is size 3, moves medium. Ooh, but he's Ghost Rider. Why does he only move medium? We'll move on. We'll get onto that one later. He has 7 stamina, 3 physical defense, 4 energy, 4 mystic. So, pretty good. Yeah. I mean, that top stat line is pretty tasty. He's on a the largest base as well, so that's important to note. But yeah, I quite like that top line.
Solid.
Really solid. He's got 3 attacks, 2 energy and 1 mystic. His first energy is his builder. It's the Chains of Damnation, a range 3, 6 dice, 0 cost. Obviously, after the attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt. But on a wild, you are hexed. So a range 3, 6 dice energy builder. Amazing.
It's beautiful.
It's super good, and just being able to pump out hex on a wild, it might not happen every dice roll, but I think it happens most of the times. You got 6 dice there. It's pretty tasty. One of the better builders in the game, I would say.
It's definitely
big fan.
Definitely up there.
Big fan. His second attack, Flames of Hell, another energy attack. This is a beam 3, 5 dice. It costs 2. So it's not that expensive, but it is only 5 dice. But it's a beam 3, so it's sort of up down roller coaster of things there. If this attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, the target gains the Incinerate special condition. So, boom, Incinerate. Makes sense. Incinerate. Makes sense. You are Ghost Rider. For those who don't know what Incinerate does, it just means you remove a dice from your dice pool when you are attacking or being attacked. Sorry. So
you lose a defense dice.
You lose.
That
is. Thank you. I got confused. I knew what I meant to say. Yeah, I still think I said it right, but just for those.
It was just said in a really weird way.
The weirdest way possible. Indeed, It's amazing. It's one of the more powerful conditions you could put out on a character. It just means the next time they're hit, they're more likely to die. So, love it. And then he has probably one of the coolest spenders in the game. I can't think of many more. I like more. I mean, it's one of the more thematic things Ghost Rider does in the comics. And this is the Penance Stare. This is a mystic, range 3, 5 dice, 5 cost attack. Now you're thinking 5 costs for only 5 dice? Ooh, what does it do? Well, you add dice to the attack roll equal to the amount of power the target character has to a maximum of 5.
Oh, yeah.
So, a potential. Now I've had it quite a few times actually as just a 10 dice attack. This is bananas. But that's not all, Matt. Instead of gaining power for the damage dealt, the target character loses 1 power for each damage dealt. So if by some miracle you don't kill them, they have got no power. And, if they're one of those characters who, are a bit of a battery and they're still on the healthy side and, you get that 10 dice and you do enough to, you do enough to daze them, they're starting back at scratch. That catch-up mechanic we talk about in MCP, where if a character dazes you, at least you've got power, so that when they come back, you can generally do their cool stuff. No. Ghost Rider says you cannot do that, and that's amazing. He has 3 superpowers, 1 of each type. His first one is an active Hell on Wheels. This costs 3. Advance this character long. This superpower can be used only once per turn. Now, a long movement on a large base is absolutely ludicrous. It just means he is one of the fastest characters in the game. He really can zip around the board. I think it's basically only Angela and Amazing Spider-Man who have
Anywhere close, yeah.
Anywhere close to the amount of movement that Ghost Rider can pump out on a turn. And that's why he doesn't have a long movement on his normal card, because if you could get 3 long moves in a game, I don't really know what you would ever need 3 long moves on a large base to do, but it would be pretty good. So that's where a little bit of extra speed comes in with the character. He has a reactive superpower. This is Wicked's Judgment. This costs 2. After an attack made by a character within 3 of this character is resolved, if the attack targeted another allied character, this character may use the superpower. The targeting character suffers 1 for each crit in its attack roll.
This ability is just so. You just see your opponent spike, and you're like,
sorry, bud. Like, yeah, you might have dazed that one character, but
it's like, oh my god, you rolled 5 crits. Poor Wong. I'm gonna use
what
this.
What a shame. I judge you, and you're dead.
Do you know what? I'm just like, it's like anti-war machine as well.
It's so good. I mean, I've actually played Ghost Rider, I think, more times in Avengers than I have in Defenders, because of this one ability, combined with Cap's ability to bodyguard. Like, when you can just be like, nope, you are targeting someone else other than Ghost Rider, and now because you targeted someone else, if you spike, that's the thing. If you're attacking someone like Cap, even when you spike, you might not kill them.
Yeah.
If you, even those times where you roll like 3 crits or something like that might not be enough to take someone like Captain America down. But you know what? Those 3 crits mean that you're probably going down.
Can you imagine if that's War Machine? So he crits 3 times, takes 3 damage off of his built the spender.
Yeah.
And then you bounce another 3 damage back onto him. It's like, well, he's out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And his final ability, another one which works really well in Avengers and Captain America, Steve. That's why you take it a lot. It's a passive, Spirit of Vengeance. After an attack made by an enemy that is within 3 of this character's resolved, if the attack targeted another allied character, this character gains 1 power. So it's just a neat little way of being able to get power on Ghost Rider. So yeah, it's weird. It's like you want to attack Ghost Rider because you don't want him to have Wicked's Judgment, Spirit's Vengeance. But actually with his defenses and his high stamina pool, which admittedly does go down to 6 when he's injured, but that still gives you a pretty decent pool of 13, especially when you've got good defenses. Yeah, he's hard to take down, so you don't really want to be definitely do not want to be attacking someone else, because he will judge you, and he will he's the Spirit of Vengeance. He's going to take vengeance on you. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ghost Rider. I think it's just difficult to squeeze him in Defenders a lot of the time, because your Doctor Strange is 5 threat or 6 threat most of the time. Mm-hmm. There are arguably better 5 threats, but I think Ghost Rider is very cool with his combination of good offensive output and maneuverability / movement. Take your pick. I'm a big fan.
I'm gonna have to try him in Avengers, I think.
Yeah, I do it.
I hadn't even thought about it.
Oh, I think I played it against you once.
You probably have.
Yeah. And it's great. It's really good.
Just hearing it now out loud again, I'm like, actually, yeah, that's a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. Those are the sort of 2 characters which are Defenders only. The next one we've talked about before in Web Warriors. This is Daredevil. I'm not going to go over the card too much, but I'll just say that actually, you know what? I don't hate Daredevil in Defenders, mainly because you can change his very physical oriented stat card to either Mystic or Energy, and he's 4 threats. I keep thinking for some reason in my head I'm like, Christ, this man is 3 threat, but no, 4 threat. I still really like it, and The portals play, where you can talk, we'll talk about it a little bit later with the pentagrams. I don't think Daredevil is the worst to sort of go through the portal and being able to do a lot of damage, because he does, that is his thing. Like, his thing is being able to attack a lot of people and deal a lot of damage and control a point. So Daredevil, don't feel bad for taking the defenders. Makes good use of the leadership, and if you need a bit of a damage output, you know, it's a toss-up between him and Wolverine at 4. I like Daredevil.
Daredevil's more useful, I think.
I agree. I genuinely agree as well, because he's got that being able to push people off points ability.
And he can actually hold objectives.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, Wolverine can.
Yeah.
Until he's dead. Until he's dead. We'll move on to Hawkeye. This is a character I talked about when we went over the Avengers leadership, the Avengers team. Hawkeye is great. Hawkeye is one of my favorite characters in the game. Being able to shoot things from range 5. Yes, he doesn't make the best use of the leadership, because his only attack can be either physical or energy. But sometimes you do just want to, do that mystic, or sometimes you just say, no, you know what, I'm going to make it. I'm going to spend that one because I want to give the hex ability someone. Yeah,
because you also got that extra bonus there as well.
Exactly. He's pretty maneuverable because he's got that hook arrow. Fast draw is great. Good physical defense. I really like Hawkeye, and funnily enough, even though he's really good in Avengers, he's good here as well. Is he as good? Probably not, because I think Avengers leadership with the reduction, the cost of superpowers really does help, but he's so good on the D maps. I tend to find just being.
I would like Hawkeye more if I hadn't been battered by him so many times by you.
Yeah, that's fair. Not much else to say there with Hawkeye. He's really good. He's 3 threat. He makes it into a lot of defenders rosters. Another character, just scrolling down here, that we have talked about before is Luke Cage. We talked about him at the end of the last episode. He is Avengers Defenders. A new addition to Defenders. Is he that great here? He's another character that's going to, make use of the leadership ability, being able to change his 2 physical attacks into something else. Especially when you can, on his Sweet Christmas, for example, where you can get the slow stun if you're spending an extra power and getting the hex as well.
I think it's great.
Conditions. Like that's a lot of conditions out on a character there, and he has that reverse bodyguard, doesn't he? So I don't know. Maybe that can be quite useful when you've got a bit more of a defensive defenders team. But
I think they actually are. They are actually quite a defensive team.
They can be. You are right.
They can be. They can be built like it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
No, I think Luke Cage is good in defenders. I think the ability to get rid of one of his physical attacks, or not get rid, but change it to something else, is always going to be useful.
Yep, and I guess he is another character that will make use of the portals, because he doesn't have any ways to move himself on the card, other than just his medium move. So maybe throwing Luke Cage through a portals it isn't the worst. Okay. I've been persuaded. I've been persuaded. Scarlet Witch, another.
We talked about last week.
Yeah, we talked about her last week again when we talked about her Brotherhood. She's A-Force Avengers, Brotherhood, Defenders. Like, she's another one of those characters.
She is in every list ever.
Yeah, she's just Wolverine 2.0. I think, obviously, I love Scarlet Witch. I think we both decided that Scarlet Witch is really, really powerful. We both play teams that like Scarlet Witch. I'm playing A-Force and Avengers a lot. You're playing Brotherhood. I think she's great wherever you play her. Probably doesn't make the best use of the leadership ability, but the leadership ability pumps out Hex and Hex Field. Her ability means that you can't shake the Hex special condition. So if you did want to try and get rid of it, you can't do it. Well,
to be fair though, there are a few characters with decent mystic defenses, and actually being able to swap Cruel Twist to a physical attack. Do you know what?
I completely agree. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. How many? You look at
MODOK.
Well, you look at the characters where it's like, yeah, I completely agree. But you're looking at like Enchantress, Magneto, Mysterio, those characters where you can use their better lead, their mystic leadership is their best one. If they don't have the power to make you do that,
Yeah.
then you're like, actually, you know what? I will change. Even Hexbolt. You know, if you're against like a Mysterio or Enchantress and they don't have the power, or you have the power.
Enchantress, you have to.
But Enchantress is slightly different because you have the control over it. But
kind of which way Mysterio is actually, whether you have to pay or whether he pays.
I could find out.
I'll find out. You carry on talking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think Scarlet Witch is going to suffer from the same problem that Ghost Rider has, which is, you know, it's another 5 threat.
Yeah.
When your leader is 6.
This is your third 5 threat character.
It is your third 5 threat. And bear in mind, I haven't even talked about the fact that Hulk is a defender as well. Now, Hulk is actually really good in defenders. I think he's much better in defenders.
Brought him back into the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the reason being is the portals play. So I'll save talking about Hulk too much until we talk about the pentagram of Faraler.
Mysterio is the same as Enchantress. You have to pay 2 power.
Okay, fine. Well, it's still good. Like you said, there's still going to be characters where you want to change from mystic to energy, for example, or physical. But yeah, Hulk, I'll talk about in a little bit, even though we did sort of touch on him in the Avengers episode. I think he is better in defenders, and like you say, sort of brought him out the woodwork a little bit. We got Peter Parker Spider-Man, so this is the core box Spider-Man, 4th threat. I don't know. I feel bad for this character because he's good. Like he's pretty good. It's just I don't know where he fits best. Like, I don't think he fits the best in defenders. But we sort of touched on him a little bit when I talked about Web Warriors. I just think he's fine. Like I don't think he's ever going to be bad. I just don't think you're ever gonna. I think there's probably better options. Is what I'm trying to say. There's probably better options. Valkyrie, talked about her when we did the Asgard. Just really quickly, you know, she's another one of those characters that has 2 physical attacks. So the ability to change that is really good. Being 3 threat is really good. Having a charge is really good. Just because you can move her through the portals. You know, I'm mentioning portals quite a lot. It's basically defenders thing. I think Valkyrie is good apparently wherever. I just haven't had it. I haven't done it.
I know.
Still haven't done it. But yeah, she's good. She's good in defenders. Wolverine, I mean, I haven't talked about Wolverine yet.
We haven't done X-Men yet.
Haven't done X-Men. So I think I want to save him for X-Men, but I want to say that he is another one of those characters very similar to Daredevil, very similar to Hulk in the role that they can fill in Defenders, which is I'm just going to kill something dead when I jump through the portals. Like that is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it pretty well. I have decent action economy. Maybe not decent action economy because I don't have a charge, but I have the ability to, you know, just get so many more hits when you've got that double wild. It's really good. I like Wolverine. He has healing factor 2. He's immune to stun and he's immune to stagger on the other side. So combined with Wong and Strange's ability to heal, Strange's ability to add defense means that Wolverine's going to be a tough cookie to take out a lot of the time. So very cool. I think that is all except for the Iron Fist. Now this is a character
we're going to talk about the end. But...
I'm going to talk about the end, but because it was, you know, Danny Rand's turn. But we sort of agreed, why not talk about him in this episode, seeing as he is Defenders affiliated. So Iron Fist, Danny Rand. He is a 3 threat, size 2 medium move, 5 stamina, 3 defenses across the board. So absolutely the average 3 threat. But you can't complain. I think there's nothing to complain there. Pretty cool. We have 3 attacks. The first one being Cheese Strike. This is an energy attack, range 2, 5 dice, 0 cost. After the attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt, and he has a wild stun trigger. So that's really good. That's a really cool ability. That, stun is great. We've talked about stun before, especially in the Avengers episode. Stun is everywhere. Stun is super annoying. Stun is definitely one of the special conditions sometimes where you're like, you know what, I am going to spend an action to just shake this. Because...
you kind of have to commit, I think.
Yep, unless you are just absolutely loaded with power. Like, that's basically the only time I would think of not doing it. And you need, say, 2 attacks to get rid of someone. Second attack is a physical one. This is flying kick, range 3, 4 dice, 0 cost. So he has 2 free attacks, which is very cool. After the attack is resolved, this character gains 1 power. So he has 2 builders, quote unquote. He has 1 true builder and 1 just flat power gainer. But the amazing sort of ability on flying kick is after the attack is resolved, place this character within 1 of the target. So yeah, this is just a really great piece of maneuverability on a fighter. It's range 3, which is really good, and then you can sort of leapfrog the fighter to be 1 on the other side, which is great.
Guaranteed 1 power.
Guaranteed 1 power. You're using this most of the time, I think, to gain the power that you need and to move within 1. 4 dice is not the best, but you will get those turns where, oops, I killed you.
Yeah,
like that sometimes happens. I've done that with Widow before when you got 4 dice to actually like, oops, like didn't mean to kill you, but you did. I'll go on to superpowers. He has 2 passive ones. The immortal weapon. During the power phase, this character gains an additional power. So he is, we love it. He's an Asgardian by another name, which is wicked, and he is a master martial artist. When this character is defending against physical or energy attacks within 3, this character adds blank to its defense rolls.
Nice.
So usually
it's
martial
artists to another
2.
level.
Yeah, martial artists within 2 normally, is that right? I think most of the time. So within 3, which we know twice as long as 2, which is great. But I have missed the biggest thing on Danny Rand's card.
It's literally the biggest thing. It has the most text.
It really does. And it's the reason you're taking Danny Rand. And
cool character.
Very cool character. It is the energy attack, the Iron Fist. You're gonna get fisted, son. Real hard. Boy, is it's gonna hurt.
You're feeling this. This is a range 2, 9 dice, 8 cost attack, which is bananas. An 8 cost attack, but you get 9 dice, which is bananas. There's just a lot of bananas going on here. Before damage, it's also energy. Yeah, that's great. Before damage is dealt, other enemy characters within 3 of the target character suffer 1. So it's got splash damage, which is great. Really good. Really good. But the big block. This is before damage is dealt. If the target character has an activated token, it gains the stagger special condition and is thrown short away from this character. If the target character does not have an activated token, it gains an activated token. Oh!
So, you could, in theory, with Iron Fist and Doctor Strange, just be activating your opponent's characters for them. Just be like, nah, you don't want to do anything. I mean, at the end of the day, 9 dice will probably kill somebody.
Yeah.
However, the fact that it gives them an activated token before damage is dealt means that it doesn't change the priority swing, basically. Because before damage is dealt, you gain the activated token. It's really good.
Also, it kills Bob.
I mean,
I've just realised he's the character that kills Bob because it gives him the activated token,
and then
Bob can't regenerate.
Yep.
Oh my god!
I mean, we don't want to just take him for killing Bob. Like, this is cool.
I do.
Is he the best in defenders? I actually think he's going to be better in a team like Brotherhood or A4, so you can just get him that power a little bit easier.
He definitely needs it. He definitely needs that power.
Even when you're gaining 2 power a turn, like that is.
And I think with one, I suppose you can give him an extra one.
Yeah, no, it's not nothing.
Still going to take a turn or 2.
Yeah.
Well, 2 or 3 turns, I should say.
I think instead of the thing with A-Force and Brotherhood is you're aiming for that second turn Iron Fist. I think with defenders, really, it's that third turn. I mean, you can also get really lucky, and like you said, with one, give him that power, and then get a really good chi strike. Like at the end of the day, like
I guess you could teleport, portal, punch, get lucky, spike, get some power, fist into someone else. Yeah, so it could happen. It could happen.
I completely agree. I just think it's going to be more reliable in other affiliations.
Yeah, I agree. You're probably going to get it off more, like maybe twice a game in more consistently in other affiliations.
Yeah, I think the ability to, like you sort of talked about with the portals as well, being able to teleport, like kick through the portals, gaining that extra power. So it's basically a free interact with the portals because spend 1 to move through it, and then you basically get that power back, and you've moved a long way then.
Yeah.
You've moved a long way. I don't know. I'm really excited to bring Iron Fist to the table. Really excited. I think.
I painted him up the day I got him. That's how.
Yeah, exactly. That tells you how much you need to know. But that rounds out the affiliated characters for the defenders. They have a really cool spread. They've got some decent punchy characters: Daredevil, Hulk, Wolverine, and Iron Fist, and Luke Cage and Scarlet Witch. I guess Scarlet Witch is actually very punchy. We've got some ranged attack there from the likes of Hawkeye, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch again, and I think it's really just the only thing you're sort of missing there is a little bit more of that energy attacks. But then I guess Doctor Strange has that on his builder. So, and obviously Iron Fist if you need it.
The leadership ability.
And the leadership ability, exactly. So that sort of fills in the gap. I like this roster. It's a solid roster. It's a solid team. So it's got a lot of good stuff going for it. I think the reason you should take them is for Doctor Strange, but also for their tactics cards. Now, I'm going to leave pentagrams to the end. We're going to talk about the 2 Doctor Strange tactics cards first of all. So we have the 7 Sons of Cinnabus, or Cinnamon Buns, as we all like to say.
Cinnamon Buns.
An unaffiliated team tactics card, but if you require Doctor Strange. So if it is Doctor Strange activation and there are 2 other non-days characters allied characters, within 2, he may spend 3 to play this card. Doctor Strange may use the 7 Sons of Cinnabus attack. If this attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, the target character gains the Incinerate special condition. But what is the attack? Well, it's a Beam 5 energy attack where you roll 8 dice. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of bananas. I mean, you need a lot to go on. Like, you need 2 characters near him. He needs to spend 3 power. But man, 3 power for this attack on certain maps is not. It's not expensive enough. Like, that is too cheap. 5, 8 dice.
I mean, he is just throwing out those cinnamon buns.
I mean, I love cinnamon buns.
Who doesn't love a cinnamon bun?
One of the nicest baked goods on the planet, and I will fight anyone who doesn't like them. Just putting it out there.
I'm right with you.
Yeah, thank you. And there are 7 cinnamon buns, and I will happily eat 7 cinnamon buns.
Challenge accepted. I feel like you should have to now do that before you use this card.
I mean, I'm okay with
7 buns of cinnamon.
Yeah, I'll be okay with that. I don't know if I'll be in any fit state to play the game after I've eaten 7 cinnamon buns.
You're playing.
But I'll give it a good go.
That's it. You're playing Defenders at Marcus's event now.
Oh God, no! It's game 3, and I have to again. This is the 21st cinnamon bun I've eaten today.
4 rounds, 28 cinnamon buns.
Oh, I've got to drive you home. That ain't happening.
Oh God, yeah.
This is a cool card. Yeah, a really, really cool card. I've played it. I've had it done against me as well. It hurts. It's great. The second Doctor Strange card is the Vapors of Valor. Another unaffiliated card, but again, Doctor Strange. If there are 2 other non-dazed allied characters within 2 of Doctor Strange, he may spend 3 to play this card. So it's sort of a thing with his tactics cards, is that he needs allied characters to be near him to play them, which I think is pretty cool. It sort of tells you how they want to be playing, which is a bit more bunched up, a bit more groupy, defending each other, which is pretty cool. But what does it do? You choose a character within 3 of Doctor Strange. That character gains 3 obscuring mist tokens. Each time the target is each time the character is targeted by an attack, shuffle the tokens and reveal 1 at random. If the token has a blank on the back, you may re-roll any number of the attacker's dice. If it has a silhouette, the attack continues as normal. At the end of the round, remove all obscuring mist tokens from the character. So.
I don't hate it. I just don't
don't
see it being used very often.
I have never used it.
No, it reminds me of a Yu-Gi-Oh card that there used to be that basically did the same thing. You would.
Which one is it?
Yeah, but essentially you would play it and you'd pick up your cards and like place them face down, and then if they didn't pick the right one, they couldn't attack the person. Mystical Hats, I think it was called. So it was also very mystical. It's okay, but at the end of the day, all you're doing is getting some rerolls. It's not like it stops the attack from hitting you, exactly. Which would be probably too strong. But
it's not really rerolls. You re-roll the attacker's dice.
Yeah.
So it's.
But they could roll better.
Exactly. That's a weird thing, isn't it? Like sometimes you're like, oh, I've only got 3 or 4 stamina left. Yeah, they've got. I guess if they've done enough to kill you, then the reroll.
Yeah, you would choose. You'd be like, yeah, definitely reroll those.
Yeah.
But it's like they've rolled into an even better attack. Whoops. I don't know. For me, it's not worth 3 power. Maybe. I mean, probably there'll be that one time when it's worth it.
I guess the good thing as well, if you just need a guy to sit, or guy or gal, to just sit on a point and survive the round, like that's all they need to do.
Yeah.
The fact that you may re-roll the dice, if it's a really bad dice, don't re-roll it.
No, exactly.
Just don't do that. But yeah, that's basically the only time I could ever see it being.
I just think there's too many options for 8 cards that it just doesn't make it in.
Agreed.
But for fun, 100%.
Exactly. Now, this is the only Defenders affiliated card in the game so far, and this is the Pentagram of Farrell. Now, I sort of insinuated with quite a few of the Defenders characters that they work very well with this card. So like I said, this is a Defenders card. It's a reactive card. During the power phase, Doctor Strange or Wong may spend 2 to play this card. So another reason why you would want a gem on Doctor Strange, because it means that you can do that. Turn 1, which is pretty powerful. You place a Mystic Portal token within 1 of the character that played this card, then place a Mystical Portal token within 5 of the same character. So you basically place 1 and then place 1 5 away from it. At any time during a character's activation, while within 1 of a portal, it may spend 1 power to be placed within 1 of the other mystical portal. Now, doesn't just say friendlies there, so just so everyone knows, your opponent can also use the portals, which I think is cool. It's just this secret tunnel through the battlefield. But what it really does open up is I get to throw something big and scary 5 away for the cost of 1 power.
Oh yeah. Hello Hulk.
Hello Hulk, hello Daredevil, hello Wolverine, hello Valkyrie, hello Cage, hello Iron Fist, hello. There are so many characters in Defenders that want to be jumping.
Sorry, hi Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I still exactly it's still good. It's still good. With cards like Gamma and Demons and other E's, to be fair. But I think those are the two that people have seen it most of the time. You can basically bunch up the center point quite easily. I'm not going to claim any sort of great knowledge about the numerous numbers of plays that you can have with the portals. But you should definitely go read the Xavier Protocols blog. Jacob did a whole sort of thing on, why is Portal so good? The general consensus is yes, it's a big sort of you are spending a lot to do that. Like you have Doctor Strange, you have the Soul Gem, you've got a tactics card, you've got something you want to throw through the defenders. You are playing certain crises which are really good with it. But it's a turn 1 play that's very good. And it's a turn 1 play that if you're playing competitively, you need to be aware of. It's very good, this tactics card. I've used it a lot. I've used it in both fluffy game, like more fun-oriented games, and more competitive games. And funnily enough, it does well in both.
Yeah. The thing is, though, you can set yourself up for oh god moment when your opponent jumps back through the other way. And suddenly they're rushing your back point, and you're like, oh, that's 3 victory points I just accidentally gave away. And
this is why I don't think it's broken, because there is that element to it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just you can skew your list to be better with it. It's really good. Like I said, it's really good on the E's. It's also really good on the C's because you can sort of stay where you're deploying and put the off to one of the 2 side points. So it just really helps those characters who want to be spending their activations punching.
Does it work well on herbs?
Yeah, I think that's another one of the powerful turn 1 plays with it, is that it is good on herbs as well. Yeah. But I've sort of talked about competitively here with the Defenders, but it's interesting that I looked earlier with the season 5 stats. They're really not played that often, Defenders. We're sort of around the sort of 7% mark, sort of average sort of thing, and even in central bracket, for example, they're only played 2% of the time. Most being in the east bracket where they got 9%, so they're sort of in the lower, well into the lower half of
I think they were definitely more. They were played more last time round. I think
they were, and I looked at that as well because that's what I thought. I thought Defenders were played more because of portals. I thought that was a pretty powerful play. People were playing it a lot, and actually they were played quite a lot more at the beginning of season 4, and even at the halfway turning point, they had a big drop down.
Okay. I guess they've been around a while now, so that's understandable.
They have been around a while, and I guess the thing with season 4 was at the halfway point you had Enchantress come out.
Yeah.
And
you did pop up halfway through.
I want to play Enchantress. Does this mean that you shouldn't plan for it? No, I think that just means that the Defenders players who are playing it are probably hoping that, they may be one of the only people that people play against, so that they're not having lists teched to be very good against the portals. So I don't know. I really like the Defenders. I don't play them that often, and I probably, if I'm being honest, won't play them all that much.
They're definitely a good guy faction. I will want to play more.
And that's nice. That's good. That's good, because I do think they're good.
Doctor Strange is one of my favourite characters. Ghost Rider is one of my favourite characters.
Yeah. And that's the thing. They've got so many really, really cool.
Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I've always really enjoyed the comics where they're together.
So, Heroes for Hire.
Heroes for Hire.
And Heroes for Hire is, I guess we could probably talk about that as a tactics card. To be honest, it's not really, it's not one that we've had to talk about yet. But this is a Luke Cage and Iron Fist card. Just wait for it to load up here.
It's been slow on mine as well. I could just grab the card, but.
Yeah, I mean, I can't be bothered. I got it here. It's finally loaded. So yeah, when an allied character is targeted by an attack within 3 of an allied Luke Cage and or Iron Fist, the allied character may spend 2 to play this card. So you're spending 2 to go hire a hero to give you a hand. You place an allied Luke Cage or Iron Fist that is within 3 of the allied character within 1 of the allied character. The placed character becomes the target of the attack after the attack is resolved. If the placed character is not dazed and the attacking character is size 3 or less, the placed character may throw the attacking character away short.
I like it.
I think this is great. I think this is a kind of neat way. If you're being attacked by like a middling, like a low to middling attack, and you need some power on a Danny round, nice. Let's go do that. We know what Danny Rand's going to be doing. We know what Iron Fist is going to be doing with that power. He gets some movement out of it. He gets to throw someone away short. And then you got kind of like Luke Cage, where he is much tankier. So he now becomes the target of the attack, and he might not even take any, very little. He may take very little damage out of that. And again, his spender for power. He's got a throw. You want to be getting power on him. And it's more the movement, I think, with Luke Cage. I think the ability to get that free movement is really decent.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another team tactics card, which is pretty cool, and I am a big fan of. But that's a sort of breakdown of the affiliation. Generally pretty cool. But yeah, we should probably look at some like rosters that I've put together.
Pat's fun list. Let me bring it up on the screen. I can click some buttons, doing this, do that.
Just a little stretch.
And if I do this, I believe your fun list is on the screen.
It is. So that is my fluffy list. I have gone for Doctor Strange, Time Gem, Soul Gem, Wong, Hulk, Valkyrie, Hawkeye, Daredevil?
He's the devil that holds the doors.
Luke Cage and Iron Fist. So they're all Defenders affiliated. There's nobody here who isn't affiliated in the Defenders. I went with Doctor Strange and Hulk because they were the 2 OGs. If we had Namor and Silver Surfer, they would 100% be in this list, regardless of how good they are.
I mean, they're both 5 threat.
I think, yeah. I think
least.
Silver Surfer is definitely going to be a 5 threat. Namor, there is an argument could get away with being 4 threat, but I hope they do push him a little bit. That would be really good. I went for both the gems. Like I said, I don't think the Time Gem is the most competitive gem on Doctor Strange, but it's great. Like it's fun. Being able to get 3 activations out of Doctor Strange is really good. Valkyrie and Hawkeye. Valkyrie was like one of the first people to become a Defender for a day. So she's in there, and I think she's pretty powerful. She's 3 threat, which helps with roster building. And actually, what I've done here is gone with, there's quite a few lower threat characters here. Wong, Valkyrie, Hawkeye, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist are all on the lower end of costs, and the reason being is if you want to take the Time Gem and the Soul Gem, or even just the Time Gem on Strange, you're really tight on how much space you have for the rest of the roster. So that I sort of did make a conscious effort to go a little bit lower to the ground. With Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, you do have closer to the Netflix Defenders there.
Yeah,
as well.
No Jessica Jones yet. So
no Jessica Jones. She would be in there as a.
I think the only change I would have made to this, the funsies.
No,
purely funsies. I would have dropped the Time Gem.
Yeah. Ghost Rider.
Although I know why it's there, and I would put Ghost Rider in.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I agree.
No, I know why the Time Gem's there. It is fun to just be like, I'm going to get 3 turns.
Yeah, and it's MCU Doctor Strange where he can do timey-wimey shenanigans.
Yeah, so I get
Big fan. Big fan. Tactics cards, they are all character stuff. Like apart from bit of rivals, all you've got and field dressing. I think all you got is actually really good in defenders. With characters like Iron Fist, for example, where it gives you those 2 activations to get enough power to do an Iron Fist. Valkyrie is a good use of all you've got. Daredevil as well. I don't know. I quite like all you've got as a fun card as well. Like it's just what's cooler than just doing a load of attacks.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. And maybe all you got would be better if I took out the time gem and had Ghost Rider in there, because I think Ghost Rider's a really neat user of.
Oh yeah, he is. But then you would have to put in Deal with the Devil.
Deal with the Devil, yeah. Which is fine. We can do that. We can take out Bitter Rivals and put Deal with the Devil in there.
True.
Nice little change there. So yeah, Pentagram, Seven Suns, Vapors of Valtor, Kunlun Training, which is another one of those cards which I don't think we've talked about yet, but it's an unaffiliated card. When an allied character is attacking or defending before the calculated successes or failure step at the end of the modified dice step, it may spend 4 power to play this card, reroll all of the attack dice. So it's expensive, but you just get to reroll all your dice.
I don't know if I like that card actually. I would have dropped. I think I'm gonna right here veto that card and put in Heroes for Hire instead.
I actually think I did have that in.
I'm changing your list. I've done it.
Yeah, no.
Kunlun Training's out. Heroes for Hire's in.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, you're right. That is definitely 100% the better way to go. I have no idea why I missed that. I must have been tired. Crises again. We say this every time. Play what you want to play, but I think Hammers is always a really good one for funsies. Struggle for the Cube is really good because it just gives more power to characters. Demons and Gamma, they're punchy. I think you can get some really good pentagram plays out of those two. Crises. And Fisk again, because it's got the 2 C's, you can have a portal, and the return portal doesn't really help all that much.
That's very true. Actually, that's very true.
A D or an E, like it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Research Station Attack. This is one of the newer ones, and again, I think this is going to be one that I play quite a lot for funsies in fluffy lists, because
I like portals on this as well. Actually,
yeah, I like portals.
If you kind of put the portal in between the back, like the researcher and the back point, and then kind of force. Yeah, I quite like that.
Yeah, that was my thinking. But play what you like. Play what you like, guys.
I would also chuck out that Hammers with defenders isn't always the best thing, because there's quite a few tactics cards that characters want to be playing, and obviously you get that tax, and we always forget anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
hey, we didn't forget it once in that last game.
Oh my god, playing in person, like we remembered.
I don't know. I really like Hammers on a character like Valkyrie, Hulk, Hawkeye. Like all of these characters really do love having a hammer. But you are right, like especially with the tactics card spread there, a lot of them are character affiliated, so there will be attacks with that.
Yeah, it's just something to think about.
It is something to think about. Indeed. But I've gone for the Portals play as my more competitive list here, and it also has an A-Force splash in there, because this was one of the rosters I think at one point I was pretty tempted to play. I think Defenders and A-Force are pretty cool, because Defenders can really do different stuff, I think, to A-Force. But with A-Force, you still have the She-Hulk, who's really good to go through a portal. Yes, that is a 6th threat out of affiliation. But you've then got, Wong and Hawkeye, who can bump you up to, if you're playing 16 or 17, you can still be affiliated and play She-Hulk. Another character who's pretty good at going through a portal would be Medusa, in a slightly more punchy. Again, not affiliated, but slightly cheaper, so you can bump up the other side, the affiliated side, with your Hawkeye, Valkyrie, and Wong. Yeah, I've gone for Strange, Soul Gem, Hawkeye, Valkyrie, Wong. That's pretty standard. I think most people play those in Defenders. Again, Wong I don't love, but I think having access to a 2-threat affiliated card or character can really help. And then yeah, with the A-Force half, I've gone for She-Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Medusa, Crystal, and Okoye. All of these characters I think don't hate being in Defenders. You got Okoye with a bodyguard to just add to that defensive capability. Medusa is a very physical character, so being able to change her attacks to something else. And again, like I said, I think she goes through a portal very nicely. Scarlet Witch we've spoken about already, generically powerful. And yeah, She-Hulk also a very punchy character who would really love both of her physical attacks to be mental.
Or energy.
Yeah, or energy.
So, like, if you're punching Venom, for example.
Oh, if only I had that on the weekend, that would have been great. Would have been really good. Tactics cards, Pentagram, Advanced R&D. All you've got: field dressing, no matter the cost, disarm, climbing gear, and special delivery. Yep, special deliveries in there because you do have the A-Force half of the roster. Makes sense. You've got Scarlet Witch or Crystal who can drop her off, but then the rest of them I think are a little bit more usable by either half of the roster, apart from Pentagram. So you basically got Pentagram on one side and special delivery on the other side as the two sort of what roster are you taking? Are you taking Defenders? Are you taking A-Force? Well, you've got your tactics card there option available. Advanced R&D really does open up a lot of plays, especially when you've got characters like Valkyrie or She-Hulk who get the extra power each turn. You'll be able to manipulate power a little bit easier, and you've got a battery in Hawkeye who just randomly gets to 10 power on turn 2 every game. I don't know how that happens, but he's just got so much power. All you got field dressing, I think, are really good. I think field dressing, I just like the all you got field dressing combo with both of these teams. Just going to put it out there. Like, they're both pretty powerful stuff. No matter the cost. Yeah, I think this is just being able to reduce the cost of an attack like, you know, Crimson Bands, for example.
No, I was thinking then Iron Fist, but you actually didn't put Iron Fist in the list.
No, you're right. It would be really good with Iron Fist. Maybe you can swap out, say, Valkyrie for Iron Fist, or maybe you do swap out, say, Crystal or Okoye for Iron Fist to just go slightly more Defender-centric. It is a Defenders roster, after all. So maybe that is something you can do.
That was just in my head then. I was like, actually, that's not a bad card for Iron Fist.
Yeah, it is really good. It is really good. Agreed. Disarm, climbing gear, I think are just two generically very powerful tactics cards. More movement shenanigans when combined with pentagrams or special delivery just means that you can be wherever you need to be most of the time. And disarm is great. Every time I've played it, it has been good. Every time it's been played against me, it's been the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah.
I think we will
basically
move on to the crises.
Okay.
So we've gone for Struggle for the Cube, Spider Infected, and Research Station as the extracts.
Nice.
Yeah, like you said, I sort of had a similar idea with Research Station. I think it's really good with Defenders and the Portal play, just being able to move around the board a little bit easier. Spider Infected, I actually don't hate it with either. I think I like it more with Defenders. Like, this is really where the split comes in. Whatever extracts or secures come up, that's where you have the option to sort of play something a little bit different. Struggle for the Cube, I think, is really good it's not making the best use of the portals, for example, but it still does get you across the board, which can sometimes be useful. And Cube is great with Hulk if Hulk can pick up a few, because it just means he gets even more power. And well, I guess I'm not using. I should have. Yeah, it's difficult actually. I built this roster over. There were a few times where I sort of went backwards and forwards. Where it is really good with Hulk. Obviously, I'm not playing Hulk. Is it as good with She-Hulk? It's still really good actually. It's still really good.
She's still pretty power hungry, so
still pretty power hungry. You are right. And if you're playing that in Defenders, if you're playing her in Defenders, she doesn't have access to her own leadership, which sort of helps with that power generation a little bit. So yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Sword. I think this is a really. I think you're looking at the. Have I changed this? I think I did change this. I took out Gamma. Put Sword establishes base on Moon's blue area.
Okay.
Taking out Gamma, madness. I know. But I think this is a really interesting 14. And I don't hate the 14 that you can make with this roster. I think that's why I changed it when I changed the characters around a little bit. There's multiple 14s you can have, which I think are really powerful on this one. So yeah, this is the C map where you just, roll a die. If an enemy's there, you just automatically get it if there's no one else there. If there's an enemy die, it's a 50 because it's a hit, crit, or wild. You control the console. If a player controls more consoles during the power phase than the opponent, they control the security systems and they get 3 VPs and they can push an enemy character short.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I did go here because, again, I like C maps when you've got Pentagram, because you can go get one of the side ones straight away with a Pentagram play.
Yeah, I like it.
And I think in a less punchy team where you're trying to win on crises, the 3 a turn really does just get the ball rolling quickly. So yeah, that's why I swapped out Gamma for Sword. It was a toss-up between Gamma and Demons, which one did I take out? And I actually think Demons... I think both rosters in Defenders and A-Force really do love incinerated characters because, we just want to be hurting people as much as possible with A-Force, for example. But the Gamma play with portals is the why I took it out. It's just risky to have an opening to your back point in a slightly more competitive scenario, so that's why it's out instead of Demons. And then Terrigen Mist, I think, is another one. It's another C where you can get the portal off to a point. So
it's good for A-Force as well, right?
And it's good for A-Force as well. Exactly, that's the main reason. Or this other reason it was in
Medusa,
there. So,
Crystal, they don't care.
They don't. Yeah.
She-Hulk doesn't care.
She-Hulk also doesn't care. So yeah, I think there's play, yes. There's probably things you can change, and there's probably things I would change. I hadn't played with this roster yet, so I think this is definitely one that you play with a little bit more, see what happens. As we're a little pressed, I'm not going to go into too much detail with the comics recommendation, but I do have a few.
Of course, I would be shocked if there was anything else.
So the one that I talked about earlier was Fearless Defenders. Now, this was a comic released in 2013, written by, was it Colin? Yeah, Colin Bunn, artwork by Will Sliney. And it was centered around Valkyrie and Misty Knight. And yeah, it was really good. It only ran for 13 issues. Like, people loved it. It was really well reviewed. It just didn't sell that well. It was very Asgard. It focused a lot on I can't remember what they're called. It's like the group of Valkyries, the Valkyrior. They're basically a group of female warriors. It was almost like the A-Force before the A-Force were a thing. Is it just the Valkyrie? Is it just the Valkyries? I can't remember. But yeah,
I feel like there is a name for it.
Yeah, there probably is. I just can't remember. But yeah, there was like Misty Knight. Nova was in there at one point. Like not the Nova that we know. Like this was the female um, Nova, who isn't part of the Nova Corps. Is sort of closer to Silver Surfer, like related to Silver Surfer and being a herald of Galactus, which is pretty cool.
Valkyrio.
The Valkyrio. Thank you. And yeah, she was basically Valkyrie, or Brunhilde, was trying to get more. Like that's why we had more female-centric people, and it was really good. It spun out of Fear itself, and yeah, it never really was meant to tie in with Defenders, but like the old school Defenders. But it just so happened to be that it fitted for a name, and that's why it sort of stuck. So it is sort of tied in with that, and it does deal with less Avengery heroes. So that's why Columbine was actually like it fits, like the title fits, like it's good for them. So yeah, definitely check that one out. Another Defenders comic run I wanted to talk about was Defenders Volume 4, and this was written by Matt Fraction with art by Terry Dodson. Yeah, this was cool. This was Doctor Strange, Namor, Silver Surfer, Red She-Hulk, and Iron Fist. Yeah, so it was really cool. It eventually had Ant-Man and Nick Fury as well, I believe, joined the team. I can't remember, was there someone else who joined the team at one point? I think there was, but I, for the life of me, cannot remember. But yeah, it was really cool. I love Terry Dodson's art. Rachel Dodson also does the inks on it, and it's really beautiful to look at. They're sort of a husband-wife duo who do artwork quite a lot. Yeah, it was really good. I definitely read the first volume of it. And there's just a lot of. It starts off in Bucharest, which is kind of funny, and it's all to do with Null, the Breaker of Worlds.
Nice.
So I think that's pretty good. Another one that sort of span out of Fear itself, so it's kind of funny that you sort of had two Defenders teams spin out of Fear itself. But it ended up focusing a little bit more on the Dark Celestials, and all about Doctor Strange trying to stop the prophecy of the fact that the original Defenders team getting together would cause a knock-on effect that would eventually lead to like the destruction of the universe, but via the Dark Celestials. So yeah, it was really good. It only ran for 12 issues, I think. So 2 trades, you can read it all. It's going to look really pretty. It's got Doctor Strange and it's got some really cool characters. Definitely recommend that one. A second or the third Defenders one I wanted to recommend was actually the more recent one, and this was one which I picked up and was like, oh, it's not going to be that good, So this is the Defenders, the Netflix Defenders. So this is from 2017. It's Defenders Volume 5, and this is written by Brian Michael Bendis with art from David Marquez. And honestly, for how long did this one run for? Was this one only 10 issues? I think this might have only run for 10 issues. But David Marquez did the art on all of them, and it is one of the most beautiful books you'll ever see. Genuinely, it's amazing. David Marquez is great. This has two trades, one called Diamonds Are Forever, second one called Kingpins of New York, and it basically revolves around what happens when Kingpin goes legit. He is the mayor of New York at this point, and there's a big power vacuum left by Kingpin, and who's going to fill that void? And so we end up with characters like Diamondback, characters like Black Cat, characters like the Hood, all vying for control of the criminal underworld. And that's where you have Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Daredevil, and Jessica Jones come in, because they are the more street level. It's very closely linked, well, not very closely linked to the Netflix stuff, but obviously that's where those characters come in. Yeah, it was really good. The artwork is amazing. It was much better than I thought it'd be. I'm not a massive fan of Brian Michael Bendis most of the time, but this is some good stuff. It's just 10 issues, so I think maybe that helped. And it was the last stuff Brian Michael Bendis ever did with Marvel before he sort of moved on to DC. 2 trades, pick it up. It's got Punisher, it's got really cool characters. Deadpool's in it if you like Deadpool. So yeah, it's good. It's better than I thought it would be. I guess Ghost Rider is a character from Defenders, so we want to be talking about Ghost Rider at some point. I really liked All New Ghost Rider. So this is Robbie Reyes, who has the car instead of the bike. I know that was a bit of a contentious thing, but Tradmore is so good on art. It fits this character really, really nicely. Absolutely worth it. It's better than people give it credit for, if that makes sense. Definitely better than people give it credit for. But really, my favourite is Jason Aaron's The War for Heaven. So this is Johnny Blaze. He's lost everything. What's he going to do? Danny Ketch comes back, and there's angels, there's demons, there's so much going on in this. This is one of the more quintessential Ghost Rider books. It's really good. Really, really good. One sort of bit of a sideways or out there Ghost Rider story is the Trail of Tears. This was written by Garth Ennis. This was really interesting. It's all to do with a guy called Travis Parham. So it's set during the American Civil War, I believe, and he is a lieutenant in the Confederates army, and he becomes Ghost Rider, and he is the one with the horse, like the Ghost Rider horse. It's really good, actually. It's Garth Ennis, so it's a bit, some people don't like how dark Garth Ennis writes a lot of his stuff, but man, if you can find this, this got some mad art in it as well. Absolutely mad. Really, really dark, really cool stuff. Definitely worth checking that out. It's a bit of a left field shout because it doesn't really have either of Johnny or Danny as the main, or even Robbie as the 3 main Ghost Riders. It's got this other one who's really cool. And finally, we've got 2 Doctor Strange recommendations. He is the leader of the Defenders after all. So the first one is Doctor Strange The Oath, written by Brian K. Vaughan, drawn by Marcos Martin Milanes. And honestly, this is the quintessential Doctor Strange book. It follows him as he's trying to find a magic cure for the terminal cancer of Wong. It deals with the Ancient One. It deals with people who trying to, kill Doctor Strange while he's on this mission to find this elixir or this special thing that but the Ancient One is sort of determined needs to be destroyed. It's really good. Really, really good. This is easily a 1-trade paperback. Definitely pick it up. It deals with a lot of the stuff. It also focuses on the fact that, Strange is a doctor, like he was a doctor before he became, the master of mystic arts. So definitely check this one out. And a more recent one for me personally, Jason Aaron is one of my favorite comic writers. So this is Doctor Strange from 2015. The first story arc I absolutely adored. The Last Days of Magic. So this was Doctor Strange has been reincarnated from Battleworld, and it deals with the fact that magic is gone. So magic is disappearing, and as a side effect of that, the Imperator. It's basically the super scientist who has this army of robots and beasts called the Emperor. they're just bent on destroying magic. You know, if it's not science, then it needs to be destroyed. But without magic, the universe is sort of actually destroying. It's like it's falling in on itself without the magic sort of hold it up. It's got magic in the book. That's Magik, one of the coolest characters. Probably up there for one of the characters I cannot wait for most in MCP. Ilania Rasputina is great. And Dr. Voodoo also plays a big role in this. So, yeah, if you like those more mysticky sort of characters, definitely check this one out.
Does Galactus pop up in that run?
Yeah, I believe this is Galactus definitely pops up at some point in this run. But yeah, it's good. It's good. The second story is the Loki, the Sorcerer Supreme. So this is the same sort of comic run, just the next story is another really, really good one where Strange opens up a veterinary clinic instead of, because he's as a sort of side effect of all the things that go on, his medical license, he loses it. And yeah, Loki is trying to or Loki becomes the Sorcerer Supreme through some great trickery. You know, if it wasn't Loki being trickstery, it wouldn't be Loki. It's a very cool storyline as well. So yeah, I said there wasn't going to be any comic run recommendations, or not too many, and I probably went on a bit too long there. But some really good ones. Definitely worth checking out.
I just looked at Trial of Tears to see if I could pick up a copy.
Yeah.
Not at those prices.
Oh.
I'm sure there'll be cheaper ones about. I just a quick look, and they are quite pricey.
Yeah, unfortunately. So.
I'll read it online. It's fine. Yeah. So we were going to do Iron Fist at the end of this episode, but because we were doing Defenders and we were like, well, we're going to talk about Iron Fist anyway because he's out now.
Yeah.
Our fault for delaying the episode. We have jumped ahead. And we were looking at what characters to do next. It was going to be Black Cat, and we thought, no, we can't be bothered.
We'll get on to her.
We'll get her eventually. Oh no, I haven't got the card ready. Have you sent me the card?
I sent it to you.
Hang on. Let me.
Drum roll, everybody.
Let me just do some stuff here with things.
You gone all blank?
I've gone blank. Hang on. Let's do this again now. Do this and this and this. Ta-da!
Oh, there we go.
We are going to have a little look at something I cannot wait for, which is I'm playing Spider Foes forever. I think. Well, not forever, but they're certainly going to be heavily played.
After a while.
It will eventually. I'll probably play it 3 games and be like, oh my god, I've played so much Spider Foes, I can't do it. We are looking at Kraven and then next time Lizard. They'd probably be out. Well, no, we got time.
No, probably not.
We got time. So Kraven is Kraven the Hunter. It is Sergei Nikolaevich Kravenov. He is a 3-threat. Movement medium, 5 health, size 2. I don't know why I chose that order to say those things, but that's the order I went with. He has 3 defenses across the board. He is your very bang average threat 3 character on the top line there. He has
nothing wrong with that though.
Literally nothing wrong with it. It's just average. He has his his only builder attack is it's not. It's not. I lied. He's only got builder attacks.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Caveat.
He has Cookery Strike. It's range 2. It's 5 dice. It's no power. After this attack resolve, his character gains 1 power. After this attack resolve, the target character gains the bleed special condition. And on a wild, Kraven has Elusive. After this attack is resolved, this character may advance small. So, 5 dice, that's good. Range 2, that's average for a strike.
Yeah.
Automatic 1 power gained. Okay. automatic. Sorry, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I think as we move on, we'll find that 1 power is actually quite good.
Yeah, it is. Automatic bleed, which is, bleed's not the most devastating condition out there, but as a freebie, I'll take it every time.
Absolutely.
And the potential for a small advance is also very nice on a medium move character.
Yeah.
And because of that, it leads up to this one, which is the more important bit of it. So, second attack is Spear Thrust. You can see the model there, beautiful looking model. Has his kukri and has his spear. He uses both. This is a range 3, 4 dice, no power attack. After this attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt. If this character has already attacked the target character during its activation this turn with a kukri strike, add 3 dice to the attack roll. So you're now looking at 7 dice. However, also, if this character has advanced or been placed during this activation this turn, after this attack is resolved, it may advance medium. Lot to digest there. However, essentially, he is just off his attacks. He's very maneuverable.
Oh yeah.
So he could advance, spear thrust, and then get a free advance. In an ideal world, you kukri strike, get a wild, go into a 7 dice spear thrust, and then bugger off.
Amazing.
And he's gaining power the whole time there. But what is he going to spend this power on? Well, he has a couple of abilities. He's got 3 superpowers. We will go to the bottom one first. Elixir of Calypso. This character may reroll 1 die in its attack and defense rolls. So he basically has the inhuman rule there, which is, it's a reroll. Reroll is always good.
It's also really good when you look at his attacks.
Yeah.
And that 5 dice, the 5 dice attack. When you're trying to get the elusive, it's really important.
Exactly.
Just having that reroll. I love it. It's good.
Yeah, it's just good. Rerolls are good. We don't rerolls. It essentially makes the attack a 5.5 or a 4.5 or a 7.5. Then we have Corner the Beast. Now, a bit of text here. This is a 2-power active ability. Choose an enemy character within range 3 of this character. Until the end of its next activation, each time the chosen character advances or climbs, it suffers 1 damage. If the chosen character has the Wallcrawler superpower, it loses the Wallcrawler superpower until the end of its next activation. It shuts down so many movement shenanigans.
Yeah, it really does. It really, really does. I think this ability is amazing. I think this ability is so good. Honestly.
It's range 3, which is a decent amount.
Really good.
If you've
especially
got
considering you already want to be a little bit.
Yeah, he wants to be up there. He wants to be up in their grill. It's anti-web warriors, but also anyone that wants to be moving a lot, they're going to be taking damage to do so. You want to run off with Toad. He wants to be running off with his person. Quicksilver. Ghost Rider.
Yep.
Any of those characters that get the advance on the extra. I guess actually Toad is a place, isn't it? But
yeah,
I think it is. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whichever way it is, any advances take a damage. And Spider-Man don't climb up those walls.
And Toad don't climb up those walls.
Well, yeah, anyone. Yeah, exactly.
No Toad.
His second ability is Expert Tracker for 3 power. Choose an enemy character. Allied characters roll 1 additional dice when targeting that chosen character with attacks this round. And, again, we've already said both of his attacks are free. He doesn't need to worry about, getting a big spender off. So you're not worried about paying the 3 power and then trying to do a big spender attack. You just pay the 3 power and just boost up your already sort of, okay builders.
Yeah. So with Toad, shuts down his slippery ability, which is after he's damaged by an attack, this character advances medium. But yes, the hop is a plus.
Doesn't shut it down, but he's taking that damage. Can you imagine you take him down to 1 health and it's like, oh,
oh dear. It was at this point he realized he had messed up.
Exactly. And on his flip side, he doesn't change.
There's a lot going on with this card, considering he's got 2 free attacks and then just like some abilities that cost some power.
It's not like I first looked at the card and was like, okay, it's fine. Like, it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting a bit more.
Oh really? Okay.
I don't know. When they first did the panel to play, I was like, oh my god, okay, there's gonna be a lot here. Like,
yeah.
And then the card came out and we were like, huh. And then I sort of spent a bit more time reading it and was like, okay, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I really like this character. I think this character is both a support piece in the sense that he helps your team out and sort of shuts down other characters, but then he can really finish off those characters as well. A bit like an assassin type character who can, he can take people out with his rerolls and his kukri strike going into spear thrust. He has a decent amount of maneuverability, a medium move with the elusive off the kukri strike, and the advance medium off the spear thrust if he's already been advanced or already been placed during this turn. So if you've got other ways of moving him and you get into a spear thrust, really good. Corner the Beast, I think it's really good when you have ways of advancing or moving your opponent's characters. Like
oh yeah, that makes it even better, because if you've got someone like
MODOK or
Loki,
Loki.
I'm trying to think of Shuri wouldn't, because Shuri's a push.
No, Shuri. Right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of Spider Foes. If there's anyone in Spider Foes. Mysterio? No, Mysterio doesn't. He. I want to say Mysterio, although I know he does the tricks and traps, which could make it even worse for someone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like you put those together.
Yeah.
It's really bad days. I mean, I guess in the same vein, you've got Trick or Treats with Goblin as well. It's sort of bad times all around. Right?
No longer can you walk all up that building. You have to climb it, take a damage. Mysterio's going to trick and traps you, and then Goblin's going to blow the building up. Yeah.
Yep. How does that sound?
This character is no. Okay, no.
I think you are looking for.
That's it. No, Mysterio can do it. It's with his basic attack.
Yeah, he's got the attack. I mean, it's a 4 dice, so.
But with Kraven, it could be a 5 dice.
Very true. Very true. I like that. That's really cool. I guess any of the bow effects as well work as well. So.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I think Spider Foes are building into a really good roster where they really seem to complement each other more so than I feel more so than some of the other bigger affiliations.
You see, to a certain extent that's true. I think they're not. I think they have 1 or 2 abilities that really do synergize well with each other. I think when we look at the tactics cards, when we do like the breakdown of the Spider Foes episode, they don't really have Spider Foe cards, if that makes sense. So they've got cards that are important to characters who are part of the Spider Foes, but it's not like we don't have an Avengers assemble. We don't have an A Force assemble. We don't have the X-Men card.
Agreed.
Yeah, because
we do have well-laid plans,
and it's great. And I think we'll find when we do the tactics breakdown from this box and Mysterio box, I don't know. I think what you can do with spider foes can be quite controlly as well. Like you've got the Mysterio, you've got the Green Goblin, you've got Kraven, and then you've got these tactics guys that make you drop objectives and stuff.
I'll tell you what. Next week I'll do spider foes.
Nice.
Because we can do lizard if we haven't got the. I say next week, it might not be next week. It might be the week after. We might film it. We might try and get another game in next week, maybe instead.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Maybe in person again.
Oh yeah. Sounds good.
We might try and do that.
I think I just want to jump in here a little bit before we finish off with Kraven. Kraven is affiliated in Criminal Syndicate as well.
He is, that excites me as well. That excites me as well. Obviously, I love the Criminal Syndicate as well. Mm-hmm. So
it's another one of those characters who's a little bit more maneuverable than Criminal Syndicate usually is.
Yeah.
I quite like him.
But is he going to replace Bullseye on my list? I don't know.
Well, they are nearly polar opposites for what they want to do.
100%, yeah.
I don't know. I'm definitely thinking of Kraven in other affiliations as well.
I mean, his abilities in Avengers are quite nice.
In Avengers, that's basically
one thing. Yeah. Corner the beast for one power. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can see it.
And Avengers generally also don't have the highest damage output, so just being able to, get an extra dice out on stuff is really good. I think in more punchy lists, maybe like X-Force, might be quite good, where you just can target something down and get an extra dice against all your other characters in, could be quite good. I think in X-Men with Storm, having cover is useful because you can.
Yeah, he's not the most survivable.
He's not the most survivable, and with his maneuverability off his attacks, he can maybe move out of or move into sort of stealth range, or cover range, I should say. Sorry, move into cover range would be good as well. I think there's a lot of places Kraven. I think as a 3 threat, and he doesn't seem bad to me at all. Not at all. I'm a fan. I'm a massive fan.
I am as well. I'm a big fan. So I'll do Spider Foes next time, and in between, because if we do a game next week maybe, and then I don't know what the date is now. Hang on, so it's the 14th game next week. And then we're pretty sure they're released the following Friday. So by the time we get back to recording another of these episodes, we should have the cards in hand.
Yep.
So that sounds good, actually. I like the idea of that.
Nice.
So let's do it that way. And we can sign off then today. So thanks again for watching. We'll be back with a game, like I said, hopefully a game next week, and then another one of these the following week, and we'll look at my beautiful spider foes. In the meantime, if you have a particular 2 factions you want to see us use against each other, let us know.
Please do. Or it's just going to be A-Force all the time.
It will be, and it makes me sad. I'll just use Guardians again.
I might bring something else. I don't know. But yeah, comment down below, let us know. Say what you like about Defenders. Give me a list. That's what we want.
Give me a list.
Okay, yeah, give Matt a list. Just give Matt a list.
Because Pat's was flawed. I'm joking. It was good. Apart from you kept changing it halfway through.
I did.
And signing out.